This is a video on how to do the 3-needle bind off. This is a sample of what an actual finished product would look like. This is a sweater that was done in 2 pieces, and you bound off the front shoulder and the back shoulder, and with a needle and yarn you would weave together to form your seam. When you do that, you wind up a lot of times with something that's a little on the bulky side. It's a little bit thick. But there's another way you can do it where it's not quite that thick. It's called the 3-needle bind off. This is what it would look like on the outside. You actually knit it together with 3 needles versus using a thread and needle. And if you look on the inside, it's a lot smoother and smaller, and it does have the stretch and give you need, and it has a nice finished look. So here we're going to try it. We'll pretend this is a shoulder, a front and back shoulder seam. You would put your stitches on 2 separate needles, hold them together, and you would knit with your 3rd needle. I like to put one of them on a needle that's one size smaller than the other. It can be on the front or it can be on the back. It doesn't matter which side it's on. It just helps you get the stitches off a little easier. And it's all done like a knitting 2 together. So you can go in the front one and in the back one. And it doesn't matter if the yarn is on the back needle or on the front needle. It works the same either way. You pull the first one off, now you do the next one. Go through the first needle, go through the second needle, yarn over, and finish them both. And then you do your bind off. Then you do the next one the same way. Put it in the 2 loops, yarn over, pull them through, take the 2 loops off, and take your back loop over your front loop to do your bind off. And you do this all the way across. Mine is a little tight for some reason, but that's okay. We'll make it work. Okay, we grab the next one. Now you can either use the back needle to do your bind off with, or you can use your front needle to bind off with, whichever one you're the most comfortable. I do better if I use the back needle. I just feel like I have a little better control. I'll go all the way across because I want to show you what happens if you don't have an exact stitch count. Normally you would have even amounts. You would have 14 stitches on your front shoulder, 14 stitches on your back shoulder. But if you're like me, once in a while, instead of having 14 and 14, you wind up with 14 and 15. And there's an easy way to work with that. Instead of taking everything off and reknitting it, you would do it at the very end. It would either be caught up in your pickup stitches for your neck edge, or it would be in your sewn inset of your sleeve, or it would be picked up stitches where you're doing a rib stitch along your sleeve edge. But it won't show. These stitches are turned backwards. So I'm just going to have to kind of do it a little bit different. Normally it's the front of this stitch and the front of this stitch, like that. Now if you're continental and you knit through the back loop, you can do the same thing with the back loop. You go through the back loop and the back loop. That is perfectly acceptable. Try to always do it the same way because you want all your stitches to look uniform on the front. You don't want anything twisted. Now I'll probably have a couple of twisted stitches here, but being an example, we can kind of get away with it. Just about done here. I've only got a few left to do. This one's on backwards. I'd lost my stitches on my needle, put them back on, and unfortunately I didn't get them all on the right direction. But this sample still works. Now as you can see here, I have 4 on this one and 3 on this one. I did that on purpose to show you a way to kind of work your way around it without taking the whole thing apart. Normally you would have the equal amount. When you get done, you'd have the last 2 stitches hooked together, bound off, and then finish as usual. But now in this case we got these extra 1 stitch, so what you would do is take both of them together along with this one. So you actually have 3 stitches in this particular instance. Finish it off as usual and bind it off. Pull these a little tighter because it is the last one. And of course you'd finish this off like you normally would. Run your yarn through and cut it. But as you see when you get to this edge, it really isn't obvious. This is loose. but normally you wouldn't even see it because you'd pick up your stitches on this edge, pick up your stitches on that edge, and your product would be done. As you can see, the front has a very nice finished look, does have the stretch, and when you turn it over you have a very nice finished edge.